So, I really have no idea who listens to the shiurim on YouTube or how many times it goes around. I just don't think like that. I just like putting it on YouTube. I think that could be helpful for people that really want to get close to Hashem. So over here, let's see. In the last couple of days, we went over an idea. So we see there's a pattern that's developed here that I see. The pattern is that we bring down Shefa from up above. The Shefa goes down and down and down until it reaches a certain point and where it rebounds. It rebounds because you ultimately reach the bottom. You reach the bottom where there's really nothing but emptiness. When you get to that place, you need help. The best way, that's what the Kabbalists are telling me, is the Arba Mitzvahs based in. Now, the Arba Mitzvahs based in, and he really shows you what they look like. Is Ab, Sag, Ma'ul, Ben. These are the Mochim. And these are different names. I asked Rabbi Memmer, and he really know. He didn't know. You could see the relationship in a vertical sense. So Skila goes along with the letter Yud, and then et cetera, Sreifa goes along with the Dala, with the Hey. But then also there's another set which has the name Adni, and then another set which has the sin, and they seem to be separated a little bit. That is this Aleph and that Aleph. At any rate, and then it comes into this. That's just what he's telling you. That's what's going on. And you have the other side. We saw this too. These are all the mochim that are being developed. As a result of that, they're freeing the oros. All the oros that are trapped in the different worlds. And these are the oros of Kesser, the oros of Chochmah being the Das, etc. We went through this yesterday, into the shir from yesterday. We went all the way through this page. And what we're looking at is this is a diagram. It's a hieroglyphics, but it's the Rashash. So it's something like that. But what he's trying to show us really is the origins and the paths of the light of Hashem. Now we came to here, and I tell you that every time I go to look at one of these introductions or the explanations, if I can get it down lower, would that help? Let me see. So there it is right there. Now, what we're doing here is we are light mining. We are looking for the light. The light is trapped in the olam, the lomim, this earth. It's trapped down here. It's trapped all the way. It's trapped. We need to get that light back. There has been a shvira. We are rebuilding. We are looking for this light. Now, where we're looking for it is the problem. And try to understand the language of the Rashash. And it's always frightening to me to look at it. So one of the things I try to do to try to get myself oriented is to look at the simple page. Now, on the page that we're looking at now, let me just slide it down because I don't want to move the camera. Okay, there's going to be some more action going to be happening. When we reach the ultimate bottom, this is the way I'm trying to understand this. Then we start seeing things like this. Now, this, he says, is Malchus de Gevura, which is Sag, 2 Sags. And maybe he means the Malchus de Gevura, which is 63 plus 10 is 73. Malchus de Tani, that's Teferes Netzachod Yesod, is, remember that the name Ma always goes with Teferes. So you combine that with the name Yud-K, Vav-K. These are all Birurim. This is what they look like. They come to the number 71. We talked about that before. Here's what you have. You have 72. You have 63 plus 10 is 73. And we've seen this lineup before, this lineup of lives, of Mochim, of these Mochim. These are Birurim, what we call Birurim. This is what we are reaching down and mining out. This is a 71. And this one right here comes out to be, if you take the Revua, and we saw this yesterday, it's going to come out to be 72. 4 times 72 is Rapach, the number, that's what they call it, Rapach. So 4 times 72 is Rapach. Now, this is what the Rashash says. I don't know if we'll do it anymore because we're ending out the week. Today's Erev Shabbos, and we'll see. But I'm going to do the best I can with this. Now, he says these are the Biruri of the Kalim. So you know from the Shira that the Kalim broke. The Kalim are Kadosh, trapped. There's Kedusha, trapped in this world, which is not Kadosh. But Oros the Rapach. So what you have is the Biruri Kalim and the lights of the Rapach. That's the 288, and he showed it to us down here. This is the 288. So he said the Malachim, the Bia, the kings in the different worlds. So let me move this out of the way. I can see it better. So he says the Malachim, the Rabia, from the Malachim from from the Olamos of Atzilus, Bria, Yitzera, and Asiyah. What did he say? That the Malachim there. And he's giving us an idea of a parallel worlds. It is that the outer worlds are in the same lineup as, you could look at it like this, is the same lineup as the inner worlds. In other words, they all have a Keser, they all have a Malchus, just like that. But they're getting further and further away from the source of the ultimate light, which is the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. So this is the difference. So he said, the Malachim Da'abiyah. So those seven that broke in all of the Olamos of Abiyah, the Shloshi Partsufi, and what Abiyah are we talking about? Well, he says, telling us that, he says that, look at the final part. He said the Partsufim of Kachbad. So he said Partsufim, Kachbad is plural, of the Keser, Chochbah, Bin, and Das. The Shlosha Partsufi Kachbad. And what are we getting at? We're getting at the kings, which are the 7 lower spheros, of the Abiyah of the 4 different worlds. The 4 different worlds which are contained in the Partsufim of the Kachbad HaKololim. Now, I don't have enough definition for what he means by Kachbad HaKololim, but I mean, in each one of them, there's going to be a Kachbad. So each one of them will have 10 spheros in it. So he wants to talk about just the big letters like that, which means that there's a lot inside of them. HaKololim, the Partsufi Abiyah, for the Partsufim of Abiyah, the Zun Hagadolim, the Chitzonius, the Chitzidatzilus. I read it a little bit wrong to myself, so just get me back. He says, the Zun Hagadolim, so we have a Zun Hagadolim, and then we have a Yaakov and Rachel kind of thing like that. So I'm not sure exactly what he means by Zun Hagadolim here, but that's what he's talking about, and we'll see if he uses it again, and maybe we'll figure out something else. So then he said, Partsufi Kachbad HaKololim, the Partsufi Abiyah, the Zun, the Gedolim, the Chitzonius, the Atzilut. So we are reaching on the very outside of Atzilut. Let's read it backwards. Sometimes that helps me. So it starts out, we're in Atzilut. So that's the first thing that's true. I thought that we were bringing these Birurim. They are Birurim. But he says we're in the Atzilut, the Chitzonius, the Zun HaGadolim. From the outside, in other words, you're on the very outside of the great Zun. Now, what makes them great? Well, if you're looking for down below, they're impossibly great. So he says the Chitzonius, the Atzilus, the Chitzonius, Hagadolim, the Zun. That is, of the Zun HaGadolim. You have to put it all together like that. The Partsufi Abiyah, HaKololim, to all of the Abiyahs, all of the Partsufim, each one of them has 10 spheros, and on and on and on. Kachbad Partsuf, then also he said HaKololim, that is, let me see, the Partsufi Kachbad HaKololim, that's how to read it. The Partsufim of the Kachbad of HaKololim. So all of these entities have Partsufim. And just imagine, the atoms, inside of the atoms are atoms, inside of the atoms are atoms, and so on and so forth. Partsufi, the Shlosha, I read it, reading it wrong. The Shlosha Partsufi Kachbad HaKololim, of the Abiyah of the Malachim, the Rapach, that's this Rapach, this is the Rapach, and the Oros that are inside of them, this is Berurim, that we're being Mabara the Kalim. Okay, last try. This is it right now. I'm really getting to the point we got to kind of wrap this up. Beruri Kalim V'Oros the Rapach. That's what we're getting. This is the Rapach. What you're looking at there, so he tells me, and it's hard for this to sink into me. He says, Beruri Kalim, that's these. These are the Berurim, they're letters. They're the letters that come up to the gematria of Rapach. So the V'Oros the Rapach, that's where we're bringing all of this up. Of the Malachim de Miso, in all of the worlds, because every world has the same process going on. It's like an echo effect. The Shlosha Partzufi Kachbad HaKololim. Now, why we're dealing with the Kachbad HaKololim, I don't know. But what Kachbad? That is the Keser, Chochba, Bina, and Das. This is the head, the great head that contains all the light. HaKololim. The Partzufi Abiyah de Zun. So, what did he say here? He said that Zun, you could look at it as one entity. Like, say, it's like the size of a cloud, and you're like the size of a human being, something giant up above you. That's the Abiyah of Zun. Which Zun? He says Zun Gedolim, which is mashma that is a Zun Katanim. The Hitzonis, the Atzilut, on the very outside of Atzilut. So that's where he says we're at. We're imagining that we're in a spaceship or something like that, and we have somehow come to the end of the atmosphere. On the other side is Olomos Bia. You're right at that point. He says the Hitzonis, this is where we were drawing the Berurim from. That's the best I could do with that. The next part is going to go like this. Now, the next part, we're not going to do that today. Today's our Shabbos, and so a shorter shir, or whatever. But at any rate, depends on when, maybe it's much longer. Okay, anyway. He says a couple of things I might have forgotten, I might have done before. Let's do it like this. Malchus de Chesed, Malchus de Gevura, Malchus de Tani, Malchus de Malchus. He says that's how they line up. From the Malchus de Chesed, you get the 72. From the Malchus de Gevura, you get the 63 plus 10. From the Malchus de Tani, which is basically Zeranpin, or the goof, you get the name Havaya, and the gematria Ma. From Malchus to Malchus, you have a Ravua. What's interesting about Malchus? Malchus is the rebound effect. Just thinking about it, just for myself, when we looked over here, we saw the Arba Mises based in, that's the rebound effect. Because ultimately, when the barrel is empty, the barrel cries out. That's a little metaphor I made up. Okay, anyway, so we're going to bring all of this stuff down. Biruri bend the atek yomim v'aba v'zah. I don't really know what this means. Biruri ben the atek yomim v'aba v'zah. These are birurim of the ben of them. I'll just read it along. Now this is the 63 plus 10. He says Ab the Sag Madrega Hey Vizayan. Okay, this is a whole explanation here of what's going on in the Rapach. And I was learning this with the Chavrusa, and we just kind of got to the end of the line. I'm very interested in trying to see what he's saying is going on here. So let's just look what he says. He says these are different Malchios over here. Okay, each one of the 72s, which we have here, 1, 2, 3, 4 72s, which is 288, which is Rapach. So he says, so here we have originally the Av the Sag Madrega Hey Vazayan, and I can't remember what, I know there were 7 Madrigas. So at any rate, this is what he's calling it. Let's go back and start again. Av the Av is Madrega Zayin. Av the Sag. He makes an Av. It's actually an Og, but we mix it up with this one and it works out. So he says he takes 63 plus 10. That's the Av the Sag. So that was the Av. This is the Av the Sag. In other words, you're taking, I see what he's saying. He's saying you're taking the top part of these mochin from these places. The place of the Av the Sag, you'll be able to pull that up. That's a madrega. It's called, it's 2 madregas actually. One is the madrega of the gematria, and the other is a madrega which is called the count. So you're mixing the two together here in the Av the Sag madrega Hey and Zayin. Then we get to the Av the Ma, which is the Malchus Tani. So Ma goes along with the concept of Tani. Why? Because Tani is the Ferris. The Ferris and then the legs. So it's actually the main part of the body. So that goes along with the concept of Ma, because Ma is the body. It's the 45. It's the gematria of Adam. And that goes along with the 26. These are our berurim. We're pulling these out from these places. It's a little bit beyond me, but look at the Rashash. It's maybe a little bit helpful to me. It's the Av, the Ma, Madrega, Gimel, and Zayin. So you put these different Madregas of Berurim and you pull them up. You can do that. Beruri ben the Eric Anpen, the Yisrael Sava Yaakov. So that's all what Eric Anpen, Yisrael Sava, and Yaakov. It's something on the male side. Yaakov again goes along with 45. Yisrael Sava, I don't know, it's on the right side. Then he says of Eric Anpen. Now, the last one is Malchus the Malchus. Av the Ben, Medrega Beis Shuhudalit. So this is a Ravua. Like I said, when you get to the bottom, which is the Malchus, that is the ultimate place in all of Abia, that is in the world of Atzilut, a place like this. And also in Bria and Yetzirah and Asiya, this place exists. We're talking about, he said up above, that we're talking about the Chitzonius of the Olam Atzilus. So he means right on the boundary where it starts to break down. So over there you say you have a Yud and a Revua, which is Yud K, another Revua, which is Yud K Vav, another Revua, which comes out to be Havaya. That's another that's another 72. Now, that's the Rapach. And then he says, Biruri Aben Denuk, the Eric Anpen, which could be like Olam Atzilus, Vitzavuna, which would be like Olam of the Neshama, which is Olam Abriya. And then finally is Rachel, which is Malchus. So all I can do is just keep trying to recognize these things, because by themselves they're a tremendous, tremendous work of the most beautiful art. Thank you for your Torah, Hashem. Thanks for giving me your time. I hope that you enjoyed these shiurim. I'm trying to learn. I'm just not that good at this. This is Baruch Fleischman.